My idea originally was to kind of focus on season extension and growing year round. So I grow a lot of spinach and salad mix in the winter in this hoop house. The transplants, that season starts up in January and goes through basically through June. And then the microgreens are year round. But yeah, because that's kind of, there's a lot of stuff happening. There are a lot of farmers already doing stuff in the summertime, and there's kind of a lack of fresh produce during the winter and spring months. So that was kind of my focus. So the field is going to have a lot of storage crops, the garlic, onions, and then a lot of winter squash on the other side, and I'm also going to do a lot of flowers. The really sweet thing about this property is it's about 40 acres. Rhea Van Atta owns the property, and then there are a few different people that live out here. Doris is amazing, one of the matriarchs here, and she lives in that farmhouse, and then Cindy also lives here. Cindy and Doris and Rhea are all just amazing women that are sort of like mentors for us. Although they're not farmers, but they do a lot of amazing things in and for the community. And then Rachel and Mackenzie from Giants Farm live in a yurt right over there. We can go see it in a minute. And then we've got, Rhea has about 17 acres in hay. So kind of farming and community out here. The neighbor across the street has a couple alpacas here. They've got goats and chickens and turkeys. They help me out. They help water. I mean, they pinch hit for me all the time, and it makes it so much easier. It's really hard to do something like this by yourself, and then they're amazing. They're really amazing farmers. So it's so cool. We share resources, and there's a tractor here that Rhea has for the property, and Doris will mow, and then we get to use the tractor as we need it, and we just coordinate with each other, and it works out really nicely. And then we have, we'll have dinner together, and we'll sit around the fire and play music and drink wine, and it's pretty magical. We kid that it's a commune, but it kind of is, because there are like 5 people living here. I'm not living here. I wish I was. I have dreams of building a tiny house and on wheels and coming out here to live. But I did do a lot of paste tomatoes, Italian paste tomatoes. I sell a lot to Red Haven and Dusty's Cellar, and then just a few restaurants in the area, and ELFCO. I sell to ELFCO.
Do you do the cherry tomatoes at all?
Yeah, I've got some cherry tomatoes in the greenhouse. I actually harvested my first Sun Gold. I think I've harvested 5 now, on June 5th.
Nice.
It was great. Oh, they're amazing. Yeah, I'll be doing some cherries, but these are mostly, your typical heirlooms like Cherokee Purple and Striped German and stuff like that. But I also have some
zebra.
And Green Zebra, right? But I've got some really funky kinds like a Black Trifle and a Black Crim and Indigo Rose and all of these funky black heirlooms. So I talked to Tony at Red Haven, and he's like, yeah, sure, we'll try them. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna plant way too many. So I planted this whole thing.
Why would you do this?
Why would you farm?
Yeah, why are you farming?
Because, well, a couple different reasons. It's a way to stay engaged in my community while working in a way that's really fulfilling, because it's incredibly intellectually stimulating and challenging and physically demanding. I like to be physically engaged in whatever work I'm doing. So, but, there's this, I think, perception that farmers are sort of simple-minded people, but I think people are starting to sort of realize the kind of work that goes into it, and that it's not all just grunt labor. So yeah, I love the business side of it, and I love the cooperative side of it, and I think I would much prefer to barter for things than to grow and sell things, but so yeah, you just get to be creative. You get to be an engineer. You know, there are always problems that come up that are frustrating, but really at the end of the day it's fun because you get to, you know, be innovative and creative in ways that I think a lot of other work, at least work that I've been involved in, doesn't really allow for. So it's different when you're physically moving and doing things with your hands and you think through things differently. So that's what I really love about it. I started off growing transplants. I was the propagation manager at the Student Organic Farm originally in 2010, and then I did a few different things there. And I love growing transplants. I love growing seedlings. I grow them for farmers and for gardeners. And I really enjoy that, but I've learned this year that what I really, really like doing is growing food for people. So I think that's, I don't know, there's something very satisfying about, you know, feeding yourself and people in Lansing, in the Lansing area, are starting to get it, that it's cool to know where your food comes from, and it's also fun and exciting, and we're finding ways to make it more accessible for more people and to make it, I don't know, there are lots of cool things happening in the area, so this movement is really starting to pick up here, and it's the perfect time to be farming. There are a lot of really amazing farmers here too. Who from Owasso Organics and Phil, you know, farmers that are they've been doing it for a while, and then there are a lot of, you know, younger farmers that are just getting into this, that have a lot to learn. And, you know, I went to the East Lansing market the other day, and I got goosebumps. You know, I get goosebumps when I think about it, because there's just this vibe of collaboration and cooperation among everyone that was there. Even though you're competing, you know, for everyone's business, it's all about coming together. And, you know, I had a lot of the vendors come and welcome me and pat me on the back and help me pack up my truck without even asking. And it's an amazing community out here. And so that's, I think, why I think I'll stay in Michigan. I'm from Dallas originally. I think people, you know, they hear Michigan has the second highest crop diversity in the country, behind California. We're tied with a couple other states, but I mean, that's, people are shocked when, like, well, you can grow peaches here? It's like, yeah, you can, you know, the lake moderates temperatures on the coastline, so we can grow all kinds of tree fruit, and we grow all kinds of berries and grains and vegetables. And, you know, when you think of the Midwest, you think corn, soy, wheat, and that's primarily what's grown. You know, and of course there's still a lot of that in Michigan, but Michigan takes advantage of the fact that we do have this climate that enables us to grow a greater diversity of things. And I think that people in Michigan, we've seen like this upheaval, and people have left. We've been sort of abandoned by industry, and people have left that don't want to be here, and the rest of the people that are here want to be here, and they want to make it better. And it's relatively inexpensive to start a business, and so you're seeing all these entrepreneurs saying, what have I got to lose? Don't have a job anyway, you know? And they're going for it. And so you've got people who are energized, and then you've got community members who are excited to support those things. And so I think a lot of it has to do with the economy, but also exposure. You know, there are more and more people slowly getting into it and talking more, and, you know, social media obviously has a lot to do with the connections people are making now. And the nice thing about farmer training is if you have the practical skills, you don't have to have an advanced degree. I was actually on my way to getting a master's in public health, which is why I moved to Michigan. So I was living here temporarily, looking for a place in Ann Arbor. Started farming, just volunteering, trying to meet some people, have something to do before my semester started at U of M. And I deferred for a year to go through the certificate program at MSU. And then I ended up never going to grad school and just farming instead. And I started working at the student organic farm. And I've been there for 5 years. And yeah, that's all she wrote. People complain. I've noticed it a lot this year about the winter here. They're like, God, it's been so cloudy and cold. And I'm like, this has been like the sunniest winter I remember. And it's cold, but like, I work outside. It hasn't been that cold, you know? And then I realized, like, I live in a greenhouse. Like, I work in a greenhouse. I work in a hoop house, like a passive solar hoop house. It gets really cold in there at night. But I am in, like, an enclosed structure, but I'm still exposed to the sun. So anytime the sun comes out, I see it. And, like, I guess that is... I derive so much energy from the sun. Like, it's... I think it's pretty magical. And I think that I would encourage people to find a way to engage in that way. I think like hoop house technology is really cool because we can grow food year round, but you don't need one of those lamps for your seasonal affective disorder if you can hang out in a hoop house. Just put one in your backyard, go volunteer on a farm that has one. Like, we'll feel better, we'll eat better, and we can eat fresh food in the wintertime, you know, the more of that's going on, I think. That's something that's really, I don't know, stood out. Plug in, appreciate it, be outside, and yeah, do it all surrounding food. I think that's the best way to do it.